in the time that it was a crisis, you actually went doubling on the heart. And you
Doubling
talked about
down.
how it was the people were happier, you were getting some stuff done. But given that, return and shareholder value was still the thing that was kind of at the top of the measuring sticks,
Yeah.
I would make the assumption that when you do those kinds of actions, it would start with an initial dip, but then bring in long-term value. Would that
Yeah.
be a correct assumption? And how do you
Yeah.
communicate that in a world that wants result now?
Yeah. COVID hit our industry particularly hard because we were shut down for so long, and clearly anybody that read the news knew we had to borrow billions of dollars to stay afloat, pardon the pun, but it's true.
Mm.
And coming out of it, I think was getting through it was one thing. And then coming out of it was a whole other tough situation where we had to start up 15 ships in 12 months. That's unheard of. That's another logistical operational nightmare. You start, in my career, we've started up one ship a year, one ship maybe every 18 months as you're bringing new ships into your fleet. Never in my wildest imagination did I ever think we would start up 15 ships in 12 months. And again, that's 24/7, going really hard to make sure that you are ready when the first guest arrives. Your ships have been laid up for 15 months. I mean, we kept them in really good condition, and, we had a small crew on them, making sure they were well maintained and all the systems were kept in perfect condition. But it was quite a challenge. And again, though, through all of that, the sentiment was euphoric. Our crew was coming back after having been out of work for the most part. I mean, they probably got little jobs where they lived to get them by, but they always just waited to come back. And so when they could finally come back, they were euphoric and they were grateful. And it was such an amazing time. And I don't know if, I mean, yeah, sure, things dipped. Our ships weren't full yet. It took us a while to come all the way back. But you could see the steady build. You could see the consumers coming back. You could see people wanted to live their lives again. They wanted to vacation. Our crew was coming back. So at the same time, it was just a really wonderful and beautiful time. And we were all just so thrilled to be doing what we love again. So again, despite the worst of the situation, we all got through it in a really great way, and our crew was a big part of that.
I would assume if you have everybody in the right mind aligned to the vision and knows that you care, I would see how motivated and effective that would be as a workforce. But you as an individual leader, I kind of want to speak about that because that does seem like extremely demanding, like to scale heart, to scale caring in such a way. And, I almost feel like I have to give the disclaimer, I'm asking for a friend, but no, actually, I'm asking for myself. I've worked with some small teams and I found it exhausting sometimes when I have to really care for a lot of other people. And I realize that people are craving knowing that their managers, their leaders care for them. And I've done it with small teams. You're doing it with an organization of 20,000 people. That I can't even comprehend the level of caring you need to have and at that scale and keeping your own energy up. And so that sounds hard.
Yeah. It is, well, it is if it doesn't come naturally to you. And but caring and nurturing do come very naturally to me. There's a lot of different things. We're all complex human beings made up of a lot of different things. And I think that, I've always taken care of people. I've always taken care of my sisters since the day they were born, take care of my family, no matter who it is, what it is. They all live with me when they need a place to live. My sister told me once she never met anyone in her life that had a bigger capacity to love than me. And, I took that as a supreme compliment. And it is, it's genuine. And that's why some leaders have it and some leaders don't, right? And that's why you can't teach a leader empathy. You can't teach a leader to have heart if they don't automatically come with it. And you can very quickly see how people respond to leaders who do and don't have heart. And I've seen people in organizations who work for leaders that don't really, register high on the Hart Richter scale, and how they go about their jobs.
Mm.
And it's a job. It's a job. At that point, it's just a job. They go to work and they do what they have to do to make a living, and they realize it's their job, and that's fine. That's the way it is. But when you're in an environment where you are genuinely cared for and you don't just look at it as a job, that's what I wanted. I wanted an environment where people just didn't come to work at Celebrity because it was a job. They worked at Celebrity because they cared. They were mutually invested, emotionally invested in our success. They gave everything they had every day. And they were happy being there. And then they could be their genuine self and know that they were in an environment where they could trust, and we were a team and we collaborated. It was all for one and one for all. Nobody was more important than the team. And that's the environment that I felt was really important to create. And it served me very well as a CEO because our brand got the results and transformed our results and transformed our brand and created a brand that earned a ton of respect and really became a force to be reckoned with in our industry. And when I took it over, 9 years ago, it wasn't. So it worked for me. Now, and I'm not saying other styles can't work for other people and they can't get the same thing, but it was just how I wanted to do it. I've always said the results that you get are really important, but how you get them is equally important. And for me, that was my how.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.